Okay, the time being is 4 p.m. This is the Rowley Municipal Light Board special meeting of May 30th, 2012 at 4 p.m. I declare the meeting open at 4:01 p.m. This meeting is being video recorded and also audio recorded. Agenda item number 1. Review General Manager recruitment search with Rick Dackery of Dackery and Associates. I guess you're on, Rick. If you maybe can explain to us, what you do and what you might be able to offer us.
Well, I think, let me tell you a little bit about what I do. I've been working with Rowley for a number of years, originally with Linda and then with Christina, providing them assistance on workforce issues. With this situation right here, you're talking about recruitment, which I do a fair amount, particularly with public power. So rather than I telling you the whole spiel about what I do, it's really more important to find out what you want. Okay. And then I can probably then tell you how I can help you. That's really the critical piece in this process.
Okay, I think what we want is a new manager.
Okay.
So, I think we need to probably set some parameters with you as to how that would be or what we're actually looking for.
Exactly, because the kind of manager you want, it's important to understand exactly what your needs are, what your expectations are of the manager, really in essence to develop a profile of the manager to make sure when we go out to the marketplace to go find a manager, we find the right manager.
Okay.
What you don't want is a false start. We've had one. You want to make sure you have the right candidate in place. And so it's essential that the board is clear on what they're looking for in a manager. So tell me about that. And then, Bob, I guess based on the conversation that we had initially, what role you want me to play in this recruitment process, or what role you want to play in the recruitment process, so I can find out how I can really support you.
Okay. Yeah, I can give you my opinion is what we want. Hopefully the other two gentlemen here will also give you their opinion as to what we're really looking for. I think from my standpoint and with my background, I would be wanting to looking for something more on the engineering side of the equation rather than the other side, whichever that might be, or accounting background, general business background, something like that. I think I would rather have something on along the engineering side, electrical related.
Okay. Anything else?
I would be looking for somebody that had some experience, and I guess my preference, and it's strictly my preference, I guess, at this point, somebody with municipal experience.
So as opposed to someone who came over from the private.
Exactly. Although I probably wouldn't rule out private if it looked good, but it's been my experience that between the municipal and the private sector of this industry, there are two different philosophies.
Sure.
And I think you probably know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Okay. So, I feel more comfortable with the municipal side at this point.
What kind of person is going, first of all, when you say experience in the municipal, as an engineer, as someone who has worked in another public power, what exactly do you mean by that?
Well, certainly somebody that has worked with public power would be ideal,
sure.
I think. There again, depending on the candidate himself, what his experience was, what he's been done, how long he's worked at it. Someone that's familiar with the operation of a municipality. We can find, or have been able to find, a lot of business type people that have worked in industries and things like that. But a municipal operation is much different than that.
Sure.
As far as how things work. in a town the size of Rowley, it's the customer that comes first. It's not necessarily the stockholder that we're worried about. It's the ratepayer that we're worried about.
All right. What else can you tell me?
Well, I think that's about it as far as I'm concerned, but
What are the kind of the challenges that the incumbent is going to face?
that's a good question. The challenges will be working with a small system. The crew that we have now is excellent, so I don't think that would be an issue. Depending on their previous experiences, whether they worked with a large system or a smaller system. A manager in a smaller system tends to wear, quote-unquote, 7 hats. As you know, the APPA issues that award. So that you need to have a diversity to be able to shovel the snow on the sidewalk in the winter and do other in sundry type things like that when required or when needed.
Okay.
But come on, guys, jump in here.
Oh, I'm letting you go there. No, I think you're right on the ballpark. And I got like working knowledge and application of the Mass General Laws 164. I mean, I wrote down a few things here. You know, you're going to implement internal light department policy plans and programs they're going to be doing. You know, they're going to chief human resource officer, staff manager, motivation of everybody, you know, get everybody moving, develop budget, forecasting, strategy plans, operating and capital budgets, you know. Those are the normal things that the manager's been doing. Utility pole attachment contracts, and she, you know, he, or whoever it is, they deal in all that, you know. You're in charge of the management part with accounts and all that, as they oversee that. I mean, I got a whole list here, but I don't know, since, you know, purchasing power, you know, responsible for annual audits. I mean, they got a lot to do, so.
Sure.
You know. The
I
general.
do. Are there anything coming up? You know, a new substation, anything like that? Huge
you
development, influx of anything. Any of those kind of issues going to be?
Windmill. You know, the windmill. You're gonna have that. You're gonna have solar power. We gotta get on the ball with that. Have a policy. The metering and.
Well, the metering is just pretty decent shape at this point. What we seem to be seeing is people are looking for their RECs, credits for the alternative energy. We do have 2 solar projects that are being proposed right now. What they were working on, trying to put a policy together for that, for anything over 10 kW. We have some inquiries about wind turbine. We, as a department, have actually looked into that ourselves and have tried to identify some likely locations that may be suitable for that type of operation. Haven't really identified too much at this point. The town is rather small. It's 19 square miles.
Sure.
Pretty well developed to a degree. We are right on the coast, and that, for our neighboring town, seems to be working pretty well for them. I'm not sure that we can actually find a location that it's accessible to us for that, but certainly not going to rule it out at this point.
And somebody knowledge of electricity too, and the other one here I had outlined was, you know, experience in management of electrical utilities, you know, say at least 5 years. You know, somebody's been in there.
Substation is in pretty decent shape. We added to that a few years ago. Should be good for another 10, 12 years, I don't think, as long as things don't go really crazy.
Yeah.
Nothing as far as huge developments. We don't have a casino proposed here yet.
Water treatment plant. Water treatment plant.
We do have a water treatment plant that may be coming online, hopefully in 2014. But even that is not going to be a huge load for us.
What's the ideal person look like? Not physically.
Had me worried there for a minute,
As long
Rich.
as he does the job. Not touching that one.
What kind of person is going to be successful here? What kind of person, in terms of the kind of person you want to work with?
I think we need a person that wants to work with us.
Okay.
I'm certainly willing to work with anybody that comes down. I really don't want to be sitting at their desk every day telling them what to do. That's not my style. But I would like to know what is happening. And reports to the committee would be nice. Discussions with the light board would be nice, so that we're on top of things. I mean, I've lived in Rowley all my life, so I know a few people in town. And it is kind of embarrassing when they come up to you and say, well, gee, I saw the guys out there doing this. What's going on? I don't know. I would like to know, if we've got a project plan, if we've been working on a certain thing for a long time, running cables here and there. At least if somebody asks that question, you can say, oh yeah, they're running new cable to upgrade the system, to make sure we get more reliability. Those types of things would be nice to be able to tell people that that's happening. So I would be looking for somebody that would want to share that type of information. Okay.
So on the other side, what kind of person isn't going to be successful here?
Somebody that doesn't talk to us.
Okay.
Somebody that doesn't keep us informed as to what's going on. And this obviously is my personal opinion. Somebody that will cooperate and make us part of the overall process.
Okay. What is the involvement of the general manager with the other municipal departments?
There should be a good working relationship with all town department heads, and I think
I was going to mention that, yes.
Jackie can talk to that, because Jackie is obviously our acting manager at this point, but for over 25 years she was the town treasurer. And I must admit, I've been thrown out of her office more than once.
Okay.
I think it was twice.
Twice?
Yeah. But Jackie and I hope I can say, got along very well, cooperated very much. She was a big, big help to me when I first started. Keeping things straight, keeping me straight, and I think that's a valuable resource, and for a new manager to come in. And the other department heads in this town are the same way.
Okay. Anything else on that, Jack?
No, the person definitely needs to realize that it's just not the Rowley Light plant. There's also a town here, very small town. And you have to work together, because as the treasurer, I also did their payroll. I paid their bills, and so we have to be in constant communication. And there has to be a give and take here, of things that need to be done. And if we see things that aren't being done exactly the way we would like them to be done, we should be able to talk to the person and get them straightened out.
Okay.
And so they definitely need to be aware that there's more than just the Rowley Light plant. There's also the other town departments that they need to be able to communicate with.
Bob, you had indicated that the important thing was the electrical engineering background, when you said engineering with electrical, over the business end of it. Is the business end of it important?
Yes, it is. The
Okay.
business end is important. But what I found when I was involved with it was that if I needed legal advice, I could call a lawyer.
Sure.
If I needed complicated engineering advice, like substation layout as an example, I could call an engineer. But it was very difficult to call somebody and say, you know, what size wire should I be running when I get this load? That's an engineering job.
Sure.
What have you done to handle your meter reading situation? Are you adding electronic meters? Are you hiring a new meter reader? Or are you scanning meters?
Sure.
Those are the types of things that you just can't call anybody and ask them that question. It has to be an engineering background with electrical background.
So then is your ideal candidate somebody with an electrical background, but with business knowledge? I mean, you've got a $6 million
Yes.
revenue here.
Yes. No, you're right. But the emphasis side, in my mind, should be the electrical side.
Okay.
Because the business side we can get from other sources to a degree. I mean, as it was, I think even last year when we actually had the manager, the monthly accounting is done by an outside person. That type of thing.
If the person had electrical operations experience, they weren't an engineer.
Right.
Is that okay?
Yes.
It's just that they have that working knowledge of the business, of the
Exactly.
electrical end of the
Exactly.
business.
Even though you might say you want a bachelor's degree or associate's degree in electrical engineering, but if you have an equivalent, if you started off 15 years ago as a groundman and you're now a lead lineman, that person may work.
Okay. Would you relocate a person?
Monetarily,
Yeah.
don't think we've ever thought about that.
Okay. But when I go out and do a search,
Mm-hmm.
if they're living in Rhode Island, would you be prepared to, because this will come up, would you be prepared to provide assistance? I'm not saying foot the bill, but at least provide assistance. Isn't that a negotiated piece? Or is that an absolute no?
I wouldn't close the door. I think in my way of thinking, it would be the candidate's qualifications, etc. Whether I would consider that or not.
So when I do my search, let me put it another way. Do you want me to confine my search to a certain geographic area?
Well, let's say that would be ideal, if that's possible. And I understand enough that, you know, it may not be possible. We are a small system.
Sure.
We don't have a huge amount to offer. I would like to hear whether you follow what you fellows think of that assistance type situation, whether that would be
Yeah, I mean,
plausible.
I think with the jobs out there are tough anyway. If somebody's looking for this job, they're gonna be willing to move here. I don't think we have to, I mean, of course we'd help them, probably find something or tell them different locations, but, I mean, the way work is, I think people are lucky to get a job, so, in a lot of fields. I mean, I don't know this particular one.
I'm going to disagree with you on that point.
That's good.
Probably the candidate you're looking for is working. I'm not saying I wouldn't hire or even suggest somebody that wasn't working. That's easier.
All right, yeah.
But if you've got an ideal candidate, and this is why I want to ask, if the ideal candidate's in Ipswich, this is an easy issue. If the ideal candidate comes up to, for that matter, from Worcester, that's a haul every day.
Right,
They're going to want to move at some point.
right.
And the question then is going to be coming up, are you willing to help? And I've got to be able to say, we can negotiate that, or no, you're on your own. When I'm talking to the candidate, they're going to ask me that question. Because in terms of the search process, I'm probably going to be reaching out to the candidate as opposed to the candidate coming to find me. So when I do that, I need to know, should I confine my search to the 978 area?
Well, I mean, it's ideal that we would like, I'm sure we would like somebody in the area. I mean, you don't want, you know, to live close. I don't know if we could set a distance on that. I mean, is that?
Well, I mean, certainly you can try that, but I think it's going to limit your candidates
Oh, I know, I mean, yeah.
considerably.
But well, when it comes on, we'll find.
Well, you don't have to make the decision now.
Right.
Right.
You can take a look at candidates.
See where we go.
If obviously, if I find somebody in Delaware, you may say, oh, forget it, I'm not going to do that. but you never know what candidates are going to come up, and I've actually brought people from Delaware. The next question, obviously, is salary. And have you come up with a salary number or a salary range to work with?
We haven't discussed that at all. We've been as high as what, 130,000 or something?
I don't think we've reached that point. I think Linda was, when she,
Well,
after
before
she
Linda,
was
he
here.
was up there.
I don't know what Carl was making.
Carl was making up in near 130.
Linda was at 107.
Yeah. And we went to 90.
Did you say 7?
107.
107.
Okay.
As you know, NIPA does a salary survey,
And I read it.
and I would like to hit, if we can, the mean average of that.
Well, let's take a look at me now.
I had an old one here from. What did I do with it? Belmont or somewhere. I think it's an old one. I don't know how. General manager.
Medium, the average is 135.
You see, I was 135. That would be a little bit higher than I think I'd be, at least at the beginning, depending on the qualifications.
Sure.
Would be a little
Well,
bit higher.
I wanted to know what that number was.
Mhm.
Because if I got somebody who was 150, then we're going to exclude them. Let me just tell you the process that I would follow if I found a great candidate at 150.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't exclude them. I would let you exclude them. So you can make the decision. If you find a great candidate, you want to see them. At least in my philosophy is to show them to my client and let the client make the decision. You may say, Rick, we just can't do it, and then it's okay. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to make your decisions.
Right.
My job would be to find the best candidates out there at a price you can afford.
Mhm.
And then you ultimately will make the call who the candidate is. So when we get into those kinds of numbers, there are also other factors that come into play for somebody to get to a point of saying yes. And that's, what we're trying to do is find a candidate who will say, an ideal candidate. You can find candidates that will say yes that you don't want. And that's why I'm asking you these kinds of questions.
Mhm.
You're saying the average is 135?
Yes. Now, keep
You
in
could
mind
look
that
into-
average of 135 is all of them. So you're at $6 million in revenue. There are municipalities out there that obviously you're in the smallest end of the municipalities. The average, should I put it away? The average revenue is 27 million with 10,000 meters. So you're at the not the lowest, but at the
pretty
low
close.
end.
But pretty close, yeah.
You've got towns such as, your neighbor Merrimack is at 4 million in revenues, and but also 2,800 meters.
Groveland?
Excuse me.
You got Groveland in there?
Groveland is at 5,700,000 with 2,680 meters. So those are the small. And it takes a special kind of person to run a small operation as opposed to it takes another kind of person to run a larger operation. I would need, before we get, you don't have to give it to me now, your benefit package so we could see that. Some of the benefits that are out there that go beyond the health and dental issue are everything from professional memberships, supplemental life, vehicles. So I would need to know what if any, of those are as part of the standard package. Those are all negotiating pieces, and I just don't know what those were. To help me with that. What else can you tell me about what you're looking for in a candidate? Ken, have we got everything that you were looking for in a candidate?
From this conversation, yeah, everything that's been brought up. The only one that I'm really concerned about is the electrical buying the power.
Sure.
It's been mentioned, but, that's a big item. In today's situation, it's a big problem. And if they really have to know a lot about that.
Well, it is. Buying on the market is probably the most critical thing that we're seeing in the last
Yeah.
5-7 years. Either how to do it themselves, and there are a few that do, or how to access resources to do that, to be able to buy that. And I don't have to mention it. I won't mention it here. There are a number of general managers who have guessed wrong. Good general managers who have guessed wrong that's cost their community some significant dollars.
Yeah. To me, that's one of the biggest problems.
Anything else?
No, you've touched on most of things. We have different personalities of this line crew, even though they're all good men. There are some, different personalities out there. The right person is going to have to deal with those different situations. And we've had managers that had trouble with that.
Sure. And so that's kind of an issue that I'm going to now focus in on, so we can get that. Now, one of the things that I remember, and this was a couple of years ago, Linda was trying to find good first-class linemen. Has that situation at this point resolved itself? You're staffed.
I think.
To a degree, it has. It really has. What we've found has been working for us at this point is to find a good candidate and then actually train them. We send them to the NEPA.
So the apprentice program.
Apprentice program.
Okay, good.
So rather than taking a first-class lineman off the street, we take a lineman, bring him in, send him to the apprentice program, and work him up through the ranks.
How many linemen do you have now?
4
Well,
plus a superintendent. Right
I
now.
think one of them's still in school
Yeah, we are. I think we're sending 2 to school at this point.
right now, too.
I think so.
So it's 4 linemen, 1 superintendent. There are 2 people in the office, and
Yes.
then the manager.
Yes.
Total 8.
8. Yes.
All right. And you don't have any requirement that the manager live in town? I know Christina didn't.
No, she didn't. Linda didn't either. No.
Do you have any kind of requirements in terms of time to get to town?
We like to see about a 30-minute trip if possible. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, depending
Sure.
on what's going on. But with today's communication, it isn't as critical as it used to be.
Sure. And your manager is not going to be climbing a pole anyway.
Well,
Generally, they don't.
No, that's the old days.
typically not,
Generally,
although I've done my share.
okay. Bob, you had spoken to me a little bit about how you wanted to do the search. You said that was kind of up in the air. How do you want? Do you want me to do the full search? And the full search is everything from really kind of fleshing out, as we're doing right here, what you're looking for, developing a plan, going out and finding those candidates, interviewing. Normally when I do the search, I will interview the person twice before you see them. I'll screen them, then I'll interview them in person, and then what I do is profile them and present the profile and resumes to you, in which case then you ask me questions. And that's a critical piece, because you may say at this point in time, no, these don't fit, because then I know, wait a minute, I've gone left and you wanted me to go right. That doesn't often happen, but if it does happen, we need to know that. It's better at that point. We bring the candidates in to interview, and that varies how communities, clients want to do it. Sometimes they want to do it, all of you interview them at once in a group interview. Sometimes they want to interview individually. I've worked with communities where we did a group interview and they asked me to do the interview and they jumped in with questions. Some have asked me to design questions for you so that you know what to ask, but you want to, it varies. But we'll do that interview. Oftentimes, more often than not, there are second interviews. Second interviews sometimes are done, or almost always done, by you, and it could be one-on-one, could be going out to dinner for that matter. I help you with the evaluation process. The finalist will reference check. We'll have to talk about to what degree you want references. It could be anything from a simple, there's no such thing as simple, a reference check. It could be everything from a criminal background check. It could be a bonding check. So there are a lot of these kinds of references. And then I'll assist you with developing the offer. In the ideal situations, get the person to say yes. So that's the process that I follow along the way. I like to communicate all through the process so you know what's going on, because there's a period of time when the search begins that you hear nothing, because I'm out there looking, so you're not seeing any candidates and wondering what's going on. So I'll often just update you what's going on in that process, and then eventually the candidates start to flesh out. I'll know within 2 weeks what the market looks like. I mean, I know what the market looks like, but I've got to find out what the market looks like for you.
Right.
There's a lot of activity out there. The activity that's going on out there in the marketplace is there's a whole number of GMs retiring. Several of them. The difficulty is there's not a lot of candidates behind them ready to move up. There are people back there, but a lot of them don't want to step up to become the general manager. It's a lot of work. And so, but anyway, that being said, excuse me, that's generally the process.
What would you advertise in? You're going to go out and seek them out, but do you put it in any?
Yeah, when I advertise, I usually advertise in NEPA, just simply because you get it out to the membership. I'll have to think about APPA because that's national. So you're going to flush out somebody from another state, potentially. So you may not want to do that. What I generally do to generate my candidates is I've got a network of people. I mean, I don't have a file cabinet of resumes.
Right.
You don't want that. But you want somebody who knows the people out there who are going to make the phone calls, who are going to say, these are the people to talk to.
Good.
So what I'll find out first is who's available, and then how does Rowley fit for them. So let me ask this question. This is a serious question. Why would somebody want to work here? I mean, what is it about this place? If I have a choice between here and Ipswich or West Boylston, why would I want to work here?
Oh, I think it's a nice, it's not a whole bunch of people that you're in charge of, but it's, of all the dealings I've done with the people in the office, the people, the linemen, the crew, they're all super. They're all motivated. They just like to know what's going on. They like to be, just like Bob says, to know what's happening. Mm-hmm. No big secrets, and it's a nice community. Everybody comes in and pays their bills. They're happy. I mean, there's, a lot of, it's not like it's you're not under the scope of anything.
Sure.
Of big management or a board of directors, that are on top of you. You want somebody that's gonna run it, and they're in charge, really. They just, let the board know what's going on, and, what they recommend, and then we vote on it and act on it. I mean, and it's a small community, it's a nice community to probably grow in their field that they want to grow in.
Is this a place that, do you envision the next general manager here, in your ideal situation? You said the point grow. Is this a place to grow my career and stay here for 5 years, 10 years? Or is this a place to grow my career for 5 years and then go to a larger municipality?
That's a possibility, that's up to them,
Okay.
you know?
And you're comfortable with that?
I am, yeah, personally.
Are all of you?
Well,
I mean, it's ideal to have someone all the time, but I mean, people move.
because we are a smaller system, it makes it difficult for us to keep the people here, particularly if they can get a better offer. We try to follow the wage scale, but at some points it can get out of hand.
Sure.
As you said, we're only 6 million. Some others are in the 20s.
Sure.
It makes a big difference as to what we can afford and what those others can afford.
There's a kind of person who likes a small community.
That's what I think that's one of the things you need, is somebody that's used to a small type community, that knows their neighbors, that's involved with the town's functions, politics, school system, soccer moms, softball, baseball, all of those things are here. That's the type of person that would be an ideal candidate, I guess.
How would you want me to communicate with you? Do you want me to communicate with the three of you? Do you want me to communicate with you? How do you want this to work?
I think at this point, if Jackie doesn't mind, I think the point person would be more convenient for us to communicate with Jackie.
Okay, so the updates would go to her,
Yes, and then
not to the three of you.
then she could distribute them to us.
All right. When I ultimately get candidates and say, these are the 5 that you want to talk to, I would go through Jackie.
Yes.
What I ideally like to do is, at some point in the process, I'll want to interview them all individually. I will do that before you see them. Is there a physical location in Rowley, because I like to bring them in the community, where like a room like this? Is this something that can be
We have
reserved?
one right in the office.
Okay, in your office. Okay, good, perfect. Because it allows the candidate to take a look around too. I have to tell you, your employees will watch the candidates too, and that's okay too. Because they've done this, they're all curious.
What you really need to do, particularly if they're electrical background,
Yes,
is ride them through the town
okay.
and let them see the system that we have put together.
Well, I'm going to ask you to do that at some point, because you're going to know the town, and I'm just
Right.
going to be driving streets.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean,
I
believe me,
agree with that point, though.
we're proud of our system. We're proud of our reliability. And that's one of the key issues that we have, is reliability.
Okay.
I lived in Rowley for 31 years, and I think I lost power twice in 31 years.
Should have paid your bill.
Now, I won't mention my community, but I have a nice new generator. And now you know why.
Yeah, I know, yeah, that's what everybody complains. I mean, I'm an inspector, and it's all you hear, they have more problems, and they love municipalities because they're right there, they take
Right.
care of them.
Right there. We don't have the municipal
Yeah.
service. What questions do you have of me?
Maybe the fee?
That's always the first
Fee
question,
would be
Dave.
the first one I'd like to know.
Well, Bob and I had talked about this. If you want me to do the full search, it's $25,000.
Okay.
Now, if you want to pick and choose, then you get a menu to pick from, I assume. But to be honest with you, I have no problem with the 25,000. I think in my mind that would be money very well spent to come up with a candidate that we feel comfortable with.
Okay, coming from you, I'll accept that. I'll go with Bob on that.
Okay.
Yeah?
So- Yeah, fine with me. The only question I have is, I'm already being hit, local people that know that we're looking for manager, and they want to put their names in. Now, in a situation like that, we just turn them over to you.
Yes.
That's the way that's going to work.
Well, they'll see the ad.
It's a lot easier for you. They may be some qualified people that want to do that. What I would suggest is that any resumes that come in, first of all, once I go public, that I'm looking, candidates will come to me, but they will also go to you. They'll go to you. All right. And what I would suggest you do is get their resumes. Just ask them to email them to you, and then you forward them to me. And what I'll do then is I will go through the same process. So you put everybody in the pool of candidates. I won't interview all candidates. I'll screen them based on your qualifications on the job description, and say, if you want to send me that list, that would be helpful. However, there may be times when there are candidates that you want me to interview that might not necessarily follow that. You need to tell me that, and so I will interview them. I understand the issues that you may be dealing with, so I'd be happy to do that. And that's basically the process.
Okay.
I will, if we have an agreement, and it seems like we have an agreement, I'll formalize that and put that in writing, and I'll send that to you. Make it easier, I'll email it, and then I'll send you a hard copy with my signature on it,
Okay.
so that you have it for your records, and we can proceed. The terms I usually do is I take a deposit, and then I take the balance of it down the road.
Okay, are we guaranteed a manager with this $25,000?
Yeah. What will happen is well, that's a fair question.
Good question.
That's a fair question.
I mean, I don't want to...
I will work with you until you have your candidate that
Okay.
you hire.
Okay.
One of the other pieces of it that I'll tell you now, and I'll tell you at the time you make the hire. You're going to make a hire decision, and then the person's going to have to give a notice. And that notice is probably about 30 days.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the most critical periods in a recruitment search, is the 30 days after they say yes. Because if you're going to lose them, you're going to lose them at that 30 days, because they're going to go back to where they're working, and they're going to get counter offers and things like that. That's where it becomes critical for you three to be engaging this person. Not me as the recruiter, but you. That's when you say, let's go to dinner, let's go for a tour of the community. So you're pulling the person in. Sometimes it requires pulling the spouse in too. But that's when the candidate is most vulnerable. I stay in touch with them, but it's important that that's where you people really have to do a lot of heavy lifting. But that's the process. But that's a legitimate question.
Have we set a range here for the position, the value of the position?
Not yet.
Or should that be part of this?
Back up again. A range for evaluation. What
I
is
think
that?
he's talking a dollar amount
Dollar amount or what?
for the payroll.
Payroll.
Well, you had said you didn't want to go to you wanted to go to the medium. That was your high side.
Right.
And I knew, so I put down between 100 and 135.
Okay.
Now you'll see the numbers on the candidates. I'm going to ask them what they're earning.
Let's do 90 to 100.
That's fine. That's
Just
fine.
in case, I mean,
The 90 is probably going to get you a candidate who is at the number 2 level in a municipality, who wants to make the step up.
right, that's what,
If it were from the privates, and all due respect to they pay a lot of money. That's a mid-level position, but it could be a good engineer. And I understand the municipal, and there are two different worlds. But I've seen them, department heads that.
Well, a good candidate could overcome that.
Yes.
So,
A good, I've had candidates that were worked there, but lived in small town or communities and understood the community as opposed to, the large services.
Yeah, I think what we need is when you make the phone call, you get the manager. You don't get the secretary that says the manager's on vacation in Hawaii.
Dave, are you saying you want to drop the salary?
I'm looking for, in the range of 90 to up to, what were you at, 125, 130?
No, I never made it that high.
Well, you didn't.
No, I didn't even make it.
What was
that
your high thing that
I
thought
said
you said?
135 because you said
That's what I
median.
thought.
Well, we said the medium, but, and that's for all of the systems, right?
That is.
So we might want to think about looking at a system with the reasonable size that we are, kind of kick out the Reddings and the Tauntons and
Sure. No, I understand what you're saying.
the ones that skew it.
I don't want to spend your money too much.
Okay.
Too much. All right.
So you want him to look at something more than $90,000?
90 to start. That's the bottom I was thinking.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, unless
Just so
someone
that
else
we're
wants to go
clear.
less.
Just so that you're clear.
Are there any other benefits? You're going to send me the benefit package, or at least the listing?
We
They're
can-
going to ask me that question. Do you have any other, I guess the best way to describe it, Chamber of Commerce material about the town of Rowley? Because I'm going to be having, one of my jobs is to sell your community. I can sell it a little bit. You guys are really going to have to sell it when you find it. But people are going to say, well, what's it like there? If they've got kids, they're going to want to know about the school system.
Well, the school system's very good. That's one thing we know.
You know, they're going to want to know that you're close to the water if they don't know where,
Yeah.
where
Where Rowley is, yeah.
So there are those kinds of things. When I've done work with inner city Boston people, you know, I'm thinking, well, you're right on the T and you can get to, those are selling points for certain people.
No, yeah.
We're in
So
the
those
trains.
are the kinds of things that, so that's why I always call it, if we can get access to a Chamber of Commerce packet, because candidates going to want to know that. And when you get down to the point of a candidate, you know, if they want to move here, we want to know who the realtors are. That's that. So my next question is, let me get to the benefits beyond the packet that Jackie's going to send me. Is there a vehicle involved in this?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything other benefits that a manager has? Like, if they want to be a member of,
Oh, the country club.
Rowley Country Club.
you can buy a membership, you might get somebody.
Well, it's a non-member club. I mean, it's open to the public.
Okay, you got a membership to a club because you. Okay.
No, I'm only kidding. That's
He's
just a
kidding.
joke. I'm only
He's
kidding
kidding.
there.
What about memberships to things like, I mean, APPA is a membership, do they get to go to the conferences, those sort of things?
Yes, the NEPA conference, the APPA conference, as long as it's approved.
Okay,
And I think, if I remember correctly, it was in country, in the lower 48,
Yeah.
okay.
rather than Hawaii or Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
No Hawaii. All right. Or Alaska. Anything else? Is there any like supplemental life insurance or anything like that?
How about vacation time?
Well, I mean, we offer a vacation package. The town and the department, generally, those benefits are the same, the buyback on the big sick time,
Sure.
those types of things.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what the times is, but I think we follow the times procedure. That's easy enough to get.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Anything else I need to know?
Not that I can think of.
Anything you need to know from me?
Oh, sounds good so far.
Question you didn't ask me, but I'll tell you. How long is this going to take?
It
said
better
2
take
weeks.
just 2 weeks.
Jackie already put
Yeah.
that in. She's faster than later, and she gave me the, we won't go down that road. A search like this,
Soon as possible.
as soon as possible, obviously. It's probably going to be 90 to 120 days. You know, like the realtors, you know within the first couple of weeks to 30
What
days
you're gonna get.
what's going to happen out there. And that's the same thing here. We'll start literally beating the bushes immediately and really kind of sourcing out who's out there and what's there. I have another question, but I'm going to suggest that I ask that question off camera.
Good. I like that.
Okay. I think one of the things I wouldn't want to see happen is to rush into it.
I agree with you.
I think we've been that route and it just doesn't seem to work,
No.
so.
I think recruitment is a deliberative process. You want to take, there's, the inconsistency that I'm about to say is, you want to take your time with the process to make sure you have the right person. Now here's the flip side of it. When you identify the right person, you have to move fairly quickly. Because if they're good, you're not the only place in town. And
Exactly.
if they're open to making a change, they're open to talk to other people. And there are other opportunities out there.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So they're shopping.
Mhm.
And it's how do you compare against the other? And oftentimes, if you can get them to say yes first, though they're exposed to counteroffers and other offers, you can usually hold them.
Are you gonna know if this is the only one they're going after?
I'll ask them. I always ask them. Will I know? Not absolutely.
No.
Generally, they'll tell me. And they'll generally tell me as a negotiation piece also. Because they want to let it know that, one, move quickly, and secondly, it strengthens their position in negotiating. But you just never know. You just don't know. Wish I did.
Yeah, that would be the magic wall.
Yeah.
Just note, we're talking that all of us will have to vote.
I don't know, I'm asking.
Is this what we're looking for?
To hire Rick.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it'll
no,
have to be
We will need to,
universal.
yeah, we'll need to take a vote to do that. Yeah, that's only fair to Rick. To let him know that we're standing behind him.
Now, you said 90 days to 120 days? That's 3 months.
Yes, it is.
Better cancel your vacation.
It's a process.
It could be sooner too,
It could, ideally, it's going to be sooner. But
Okay.
if you found somebody and there are two parts. One is finding the candidates.
Yep.
Then the other one is going through the interview process. I got to be frank with you. You've got three people right here we have to schedule
Yep.
at the same time as the candidates can come in.
Yep.
So there's that coordination of that process too. It's June. We want to move it, but now we're moving into vacation season. So that all of these are the things that come into play. So we're going to move as quickly as possible. 90 to 120 days is really what I'm guesstimating, and that's been my experience with this level of a person. The new NEPA executive director took him 6 months. We won't take him 6 months. Saw her, we almost lost her right there, so. we won't get her.
He's trying to scare you.
I didn't do that search, I want you to know that.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
If there's gonna be any discussion, I think.
yeah, he can be here for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an open meeting, so it's certainly. So, is there anything else that you need from us?
Just the approval to go.
Just approval to go, all right. So, I just want to make sure we're clear that we've decided to hire Rick to do the complete package for the manager search for the Rowley Municipal Light Plant.
Yep,
Is that our understanding?
Yep.
Dennis?
Yep.
Okay, then
Yep.
I'll entertain a motion to that effect.
I'll second that motion. Or do you want me to make you made the motion?
I'm entertaining the motion.
You're entertaining it. I'll make a motion that we hire on what we discussed. That amount we talked about for a new manager for the electric light department.
I second.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded to hire Rick Dackery of Dackery Associates to be our point person for recruiting a new manager for the Rowley Municipal Lighting Plant. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Do we need to finalize the advertisement? Or is that something we need to discuss about, or?
Do that here, I can take care of that. I
You
mean, I
can
would.
take care of that?
I
Okay.
guess, let me ask from a process standpoint.
Yep,
I'm gonna generate candidates for you, and you're gonna interview them.
right.
You don't need, I would suggest you don't need to know the details of how I generate these candidates.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm gonna represent your town well in advertisement. But the advertisement is mostly a teaser to get people to come out. What that ad that you saw was short and sweet, primarily because I didn't know things like what are the issues that the person is gonna be dealing with, that sort of thing. And we can refine those pieces now. But you're not going to see a lot of print advertising out there. I believe I'm going to find your candidate without a lot of print advertising. It's going to be a lot of phone
Word
and
of mouth,
soul
phone,
and all that sort of thing.
yeah.
You have to
Okay.
get those candidates.
So I mean, I just added that just in case
Sure.
that was a problem we needed, so that's all taken care of.
Consider that done.
So the only other issue, you got anything? No, sir. The only other issue I was going to talk about on the, at this meeting was a review of the general manager job description. And I have actually,
That's something I would need to know if that's changed.
that's my thought.
Changing what, our policy, is that what you're talking
Well,
about?
I mean, we actually have a general manager job description that, in my estimation, was a draft. And that's the one you have there. If you look right down here at the bottom of the page, it says, run with WC corrected and using option B docket. There's really nothing here that says that this was ever accepted, and to be perfectly honest with you, I don't remember even voting on that.
No, we didn't, because that was all part of the new, when AJ was on.
So I actually came up with, this isn't an original, with this.
Thank you.
As a new
You are here.
general manager job description. And Rick, if you wanted to just kind of peruse that, and if you had any suggestions or input, that would be very much appreciated.
Isn't the manager supposed to go by, 164?
The manager is supposed to go by local, state, and federal law. 164 is a very small piece of that requirement.
But that's not in here.
Yes, it is.
It's,
It may not be in that particular section this time. If you read the first job description, the general manager is responsible for the operation and management of the Rowley Municipal Lighting Plant under the direction and control of the Rowley Municipal Light Plant Board of Commissioners and subject to all applicable requirements under Mass General laws, federal laws, and applicable regulations. It also mentions it under required knowledge, as far as the strong background in FERC, USOA requirements. I believe there's one other section that mentions it. So rather than just pick out 164 as the requirement. it should
No, I'm
be-
just
should be
saying
all of them,
the-
all of the requirements.
yeah.
Well, you also mentioned, Bob, in the independent action, you have also the federal, state, and local laws
Right.
also. So you have touched base with all of them.
I mean, it isn't quite as wordy as the original one, but hopefully it covers all of the requirements.
Yeah, would we want council to look at this? To accept the policy, or? We're not voting on this anyway, right?
Well, if you think it's okay, we could...
No, I don't know, I'd like to, I'm not a lawyer, so
Well,
far from it. Is there something wrong with the one that was written here?
I
mean, I think it's really more involved than one you're suggesting, I think.
well, it's got a lot more words in it. And
Yeah, which
It's
is,
a lot more convoluted, I think, than something that needs to be not quite so complicated.
Would we ever go back to a working manager out in the field? I mean, we were two women and we never questioned that. Carl was the one that you could depend on to go out the road with you. Are we going back to that, or are we just gonna do away with it?
let's see who we
Not
got for
required.
candidates.
You know, not require it anymore.
I'm not sure that we're aiming in that direction, but depends on the candidate, I would think.
Well,
It wouldn't be a requirement to have,
Well,
you know, you're talking licenses,
I like.
truck driver's
I think I like
license,
this
which is a
over
big
that.
thing.
I think
So
I
I
like
have
that.
that.
I've seen it, what do you?
I didn't mention truck driver's license in this.
No, I
mean, I don't
know
like
it's
the
not in
names.
there, but
This provides
if we
more.
decide that we
more
wanna go
detail.
back to
Yeah,
that.
that's what
This is a general overview.
right.
I mean, a job description is ideal in the sense that it outlines the functions and the responsibilities of it. Very frankly, when you get to the top position of it, it's important that the manager understands their role, but really more understanding the expectations of their board. And that's a critical piece in terms of the relationship. This provides the nitty-gritty of it.
Yeah, and I think you need that.
I have worked with enough municipalities to tell you that many look like this, many are shortened versions, and many of them don't exist. The difficulty with the ones that don't exist is that there's no record of what is expected of them.
Right.
Whether you require the detail of this or not, I don't think that's essential. Is this sufficient? Yes. In terms of your point of 164, and Bob, I agree. It's state, federal, and local laws that they govern. Municipal life plant managers embrace 164. But if you've ever read 164, and I'm sure you have, in many cases, first of all, it's unclear because it's inconsistent in several passages of it. The elements of 164 are that, one, the general manager runs the light department. Two, the general manager reports to the Board of Selectmen, the light board, whatever is it.
Right.
That's the essence of 164. So they can do anything they want, and no one can tell them they can't. except the light board can fire them if they don't do it the way they want to do it.
Exactly,
That's
right.
the bottom line of the whole thing.
Right.
And I also have to throw the caveat in that you did, I'm not a lawyer either.
Well, I don't want a micromanagement, I mean.
Sure. I think it's, if I can step out of my recruitment and get into my other role that I provide for Rowley, it's really how you three, and these are why I asked the question today, how you three decide you want to manage the operation of the light department, and in conjunction with the general manager. The easiest analogy is, we'll use the driving of the bus example. You tell the general manager where you want the bus to go, the general manager drives it and gets it there.
Right.
So you, in many cases, what under the governance rules, and APPA is very good about this, the governance rules are you basically set the course and you expect your manager to run the operation in such a way that the course is set and you get to where you folks say you should be. Now there's a lot of stuff along the way. And that gets into how the operation runs, the politics of it, the importance. That's why I asked about boards and the relationships, and do you want the person going to be at the selectmen meeting, and do you want them representing here, and do you want them serving on committees? Those are important issues that you'll need to discuss with the manager, so the expectations are there. Particularly if the person is living in Haverhill, do you want them to be spending time on the weekends in here and showing up at May Day festivals and 4th of July and things like that? Those are important issues that are important. And I work in a community where the light department is expected to hang the Christmas lights.
We do it.
And that's a critical point. And I live in a community where the light department that hangs the Christmas lights is not Central Maine Power.
Right, yeah.
But that's okay. Christmas lights up, Christmas lights go down. May Day, things go up. You won't find that on the job description, you won't find that anywhere in the light department, but it's understood. It's the community thing. So, it didn't answer your question.
No.
Is it this one, or is it this one? That's what you guys decide on this. Will they work for me as the person who's doing the search? Yes. Will they work for the new general manager? Ask the new general manager. If you want this one, or you want this one, I'm sure the general manager will work with both of them.
Yeah, oh, sure, yeah.
This one provides a lot, it's more detailed.
Yeah, that's what I
It's a
like,
little
yeah.
more higher, and it gives this opportunity for interpretation on both sides.
Okay.
But I think the right candidate is going to know how they're going to have to run the show.
So this is something, I mean, I prefer this anyway, but I don't know if it's something you want to wait till we get a new manager?
Well, I think we need to give Rick his direction.
Well,
And I would hope that we could use this description as a simpler description. At any point in time, a job description can be changed. And it would be, particularly the manager's job description, would be done by the board. The other employee's job description would be done by the manager.
Yeah,
I mean, the board doesn't have much authority other than to control and direct
Right. And we go on what they recommend.
the manager.
Yeah. I mean, I still like this, you know, they've done a lot of work on this, and this what they came up with.
Well, when I read it as a draft. I really do. It doesn't seem to me to be complete. I mean, there was actually one section in the back of that really didn't make much sense to me at the time.
Well, I mean, we can delete something if something doesn't really make sense.
It says this job description is subject to review and revision at any time by the Rowley Municipal Light Plant General Manager. Now, I guess I don't feel comfortable with the general manager reviewing and revising her own job description. So,
Oh, so that can be, taken out.
and it is in this one.
That's no problem. But I like the structure of all the other,
No, I just think it's too detailed, I really do. I mean, it's just, you need to deal with the town accountant, okay?
yeah.
You need to deal with the town treasurer, that's a different one.
Yeah, it says here, coordinate with the town account on accounts, and with the town treasurer on accounts verification of cash flow, all the way at number 6.
But that's state law.
Yeah,
So you cover it by saying all state laws that are applicable. You don't need that. I mean, that is state law.
well,
Those things have to be done.
all right, that's, yeah. But this is my opinion, I happen to like this.
Okay, well, that's fine, yeah.
But I agree with you 100% on, the job description does not constitute an employment agreement, and we can eliminate that, I agree with you.
Well, that's really not what
But
I'm
I
saying.
do like,
What I'm saying is that the general manager has a chance, or has the authority, according to this,
yeah,
to review and revise.
right, so we can eliminate that.
So, any comment, Ken?
I can say one's more detailed than the other, but
So, I mean, I would,
were there other things on there that you wouldn't want to eliminate
well, I mean,
on this
if you had,
compared to what you have there?
it follows the basic outline of this one in 2 pages instead of 3 pages. It's
And you
basically
already
what-
eliminated the third page.
No, not the 3rd page total.
Oh, not total?
Well, yeah, the 3rd page is gone because it's on page 2. I mean, it's broken down to cover the basic premises of that document in a 2-page document that makes more sense to me. That emphasizes more what we are basically discussed this afternoon as far as what we're looking for in a general manager with the engineering and electrical background.
Which is all like that. Which is all in this one.
Basically, yes. I mean, that's one of the things that I wanted to get done. I think we've tried the other, and it just doesn't seem to work. The model that we used in the past hasn't worked for us.
Well, maybe we should have, maybe I'm missing something here, maybe we should have somebody go over it. I mean, I happen to like this. Maybe I'm missing something, I don't know.
Well, I'll just kind of simplify it.
Well, I know what you're saying.
And to me,
I mean, sometimes when you leave out little things, it can come back and get us later on for some reason. That, I'm not aware of. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, so. But I know what you mean on that last one. I mean, I can see taking that out, and I'm happy with the existing. So if it's the same thing, just that, why not accept that, what we did here already? Or you want to wait on this and gets,
well, I think the new job description actually opens it up to, or makes it easier, I guess, and maybe Rick can correct me if I'm wrong, to somebody inside.
Well, I think And I don't know if there are any internal candidates, there may be.
I don't know
I
either.
don't know
I
either.
don't know either.
Do you know anything there? No? I mean, you
The
got,
specifications I'm gonna be looking for in a candidate, or when I go out there, I'm gonna be talking about somebody with electrical operations background, ideally an engineer in municipal government with business knowledge, who's managed staff. I mean, those are kind of the high points
Yeah.
of that. I mean, if you had told me that you were going to be putting in a substation, I'd want somebody who had substation or project management experience that I'd put in there. I probably want to, based on what you're telling me, you're going to be looking for somebody who's had some experience with solar and wind, because that's something you're looking at, but not a must. So if there's an internal candidate there, then I have to tell you this. If there's an internal candidate, I will interview that person. That's one of the people I would interview, because it is an internal candidate. But if those are essential pieces, if I've hit the essentials, then I'm ready to go job description, whatever job description you
okay, all
decide.
right, so we can deal with this later, in a sense.
I guess for purposes of where I'm going
Yeah,
in the next,
right.
yes.
Okay.
If all of a sudden you're going to tell me we've changed direction, then tell me sooner than later.
Right. And it's probably best to see what you're gonna bring in as candidates too. All right. So I don't know, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know, you wanna table this until we get some candidates and see what's,
Well, I mean, I think we could start off with at least with something that we could show them. Like, at least give them an idea as to what we were looking for.
well, we gave it,
From the published or the accepted employment description. As I said, I mean, that can be changed at any point in time if we need to change it. One of the other things in the original description was under requirements, and it says a bachelor degree in engineering, business, or substantial technical courses combined with experience in electric utility operations. A master's degree in a municipal and/or utility-related field is a plus. Must possess a valid driver's license. Okay. There must be a strong commitment and desire by the individual to meet the daily challenges of this position. This requirement is not, in capital letters, flexible. And I don't see that as being beneficial to recruiting a new manager when you say it is not flexible.
It's a rigid
they
statement.
must have strong commitments and desire to meet the daily challenges of this position is not required?
Yeah, but it's also saying you need a bachelor's degree or a substantial technical course, experience in electrical utility operations, a master's degree, in a municipal.
Yeah,
What is a municipal?
that's what I mean.
I mean, is the janitor at the town hall a municipal? And you have that, a master's degree in janitorial services?
Well, it's saying all that, but just saying is a plus if you do have that.
It says it's not flexible.
Above, before that. The flexible, I thought, is like the last line.
It's flexible as requirements.
Then maybe we ought to have somebody legally look at it. Legal.
You can spend the money if you want to do that, but that's fine. I mean,
Can I just say something
Yep.
here? I've written job descriptions a lot because we've had to do this ourselves. We've been asked as department heads to write job descriptions. I have never gone to council on a job description. I realize it may not be as involved as the general manager, but the one the first one that I ever read seems pretty long, very long to me. And it enumerates all of the, what the person needs or what you're looking for.
It spells it out.
But this one here also spells it out And it's
And
not, it's less. Less is, to me, is always better. When you have less is always better when you're looking and when you're trying to read something and trying to understand something. Because I have written job description that are 5 pages long. Okay? And then after a while, you don't want to read them anymore. And, because I did look at the one that we have here, I looked at both of them, and they say the same thing. Absolutely say the same thing, except this one doesn't have as many words. It does, everything that's here is in here. Maybe not by word, but by the federal law, the state law, and other laws, because that's one thing they're gonna need to know. They're gonna need to know what the federal, state, and
Right,
the
yeah.
local laws are. So, here,
Right.
we're telling them what they are. Here, at least they get, we're gonna know, yes, you know this already, so.
So it's not good to tell them it's just spelled out that way, so it's
Well,
clear. Like
it's,
the judge.
as Rick said, it's one or the other. It's probably your preference.
Yeah, that's
But
what I mean. That's
I
just my
think that
preference,
Bob
yeah.
has pointed out a lot of things in the job description that definitely doesn't need to be there.
Well,
in my
then maybe
opinion.
we should rewrite that again.
But do you really want to go to council?
No, if we can rewrite it and come to a
Well, it
better.
has been rewritten right here.
We didn't have nothing to do with it.
Well,
We're just getting it now. I'm trying to decipher this right now. I haven't had any time to go over it. I mean, I would look at other towns, what they have too. That our size, in general, see if we're missing anything, that's all. I just don't wanna make a decision right now, that's all I'm saying.
well, you've already had one that, didn't this go by council?
Not that I know of. No, I don't think so. I don't even know who,
Well, Rick is definitely gonna
Well,
need a job description, so
oh,
we're definitely gonna have to work on that.
I can work off both of them for this
yeah. There you are.
period of time. If you don't want to finalize one or the other tonight,
Oh, that's a good point.
you'll find I'm a flexible flyer.
Yeah, good.
I can move with whatever works for you folks.
Then I can just look into something for my own belief, that's all, and I don't know what Ken wants to do. But that's great, and,
If you're willing to go with both of them,
yeah.
let's see what, for the
I can
time
work with
being.
both of them. When it comes to a point where the candidate says, "Can I see a job description?"
Right.
Then I'll defer to you as to which one you want me to send to them, or I can just write draft on either of them and let them know, or her know, that this is just not in stone, this is the draft. By that time, and I'm not sure how frequently you're going to meet or at what point this is going to go on your agenda, but I mean, if you turned around one in a couple of weeks or so, that works. But in the next couple of weeks, I don't need a final version. I can work off both of these.
Okay, good. And I'll do my homework into it, so then I'll be happy.
What kind of a message are we sending a candidate when we can't even make up our mind which job description we want to use? What is it, what am I as a candidate getting into? And
I don't think he knows anything about that right now. He's gonna use his expertise there and do what he has to do, and then we'll have something ready by then, I would think. Could even be yours, I mean, I don't know,
or we could have something ready today and then just give it to them and say, this is what we want to use.
I don't see maybe I'm blind, Bob. I like the way it's spelled out. Some things we can change, okay, but I mean, maybe I'm making a mountain out of a mole. I don't know. I'd like to check the other towns and see what's going on. You probably know this. I don't, Bob. Right now, he can work with both, so let's get it, I'm happy with that.
Any comment, Ken? Any preference?
He's willing to go along with that for the time being, until we can finalize the 2 copies, come up with one item. To me, that's the way we should do it.
Okay.
I can get right on this and get back to them in a week. Check with the
No, I
other
just
town.
thought it would be,
This was something that you did on your own, evidently, huh?
well, I mean,
This is something that did,
when we were doing an evaluation, we asked for a description of the job, and we're told that there was a job description.
yeah,
We asked for a copy of that job description. It was never provided to us. When Jackie came on board, I asked Jackie for a copy of the job description, and this is what she found.
That's what I found,
This is
exactly.
what she found.
Now,
okay.
I'm not sure that that's it. All I know is that's what
Yep.
was in the
what you found
folder,
in the,
in the folder.
yeah.
We didn't have nothing for Linda? The
No.
job description? No. I'll give her a call.
If you remember right, that was what the public records request was for a job description for the general manager, and there was none
And I
found.
thought this was what was,
No, Christina wrote this. Look at the bottom.
well, she wrote,
It's right here.
Oh, yeah.
okay, so,
That's the reason I knew it was within a year, or within that time frame.
And it was actually done in November. And there is no date on it.
No, there is no date on it.
And I
Oh,
can
what?
tell you it was done in November because it makes specific reference to FERC's USOA, which is the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission's Uniform System of Accounts. Which was passed in, I think it's August. File your comments, they actually filed comments, so it wasn't in August. There was a date on here when this was done. It was actually done last year anyway, 2011.
Yeah, here's the one. This is the one that is in the office. But Christina wrote this one. At least that's what it looks like.
well, I didn't know that. So she
So-
wrote it, so it's not the policy we had before.
No, and it's
No,
not,
it
and
is
it's
not.
not a policy that I
It's not a
remember
policy,
Oh.
right.
So then I thought,
that was accepted by the board.
the last board we had, I thought there was a whole thing all about policies, was I not correct?
Yes. This,
And where are they?
and if.
Where is that
If you
policy?
look at the policy book ends with an index, page number 83.
Yeah,
This page number is 85.
okay.
It's not even in the book. So.
But we were talking about making a policy, the last board, and so we never
Well,
got to that?
We asked for a policy from the general manager, and we're told that there was one at the office, and we asked for it to be added to the evaluation, and it was not ever given to us. So I just wanted to,
I know.
when we were gonna use Rick to do the search for us, I wanted an official policy, or an official job description, which I would have asked for a vote tonight, or this afternoon, and voted it and made it official, rather than having a policy that's not even official. That's all I was trying to do.
And basically, he used this, Bob used this to
To draft it.
draft it.
It's basically that same.
It's the same thing with just not as many words,
Less
yeah.
words.
There's not as many words, but what was interesting was this down here and the fact that Bob found out when it was actually done. But this is all I could find. There was nothing else. I looked in folders for Linda and Carl.
So if in fact we don't want an official policy to give to Rick to use, then we can move
Well, I mean,
forward.
I happen to have, this is Georgetown, the light department, general manager and any law, no, I don't want that. General manager entitled Operation Light Department and Chapter 164, the Georgetown Light Department shall pay defense, that's his contract. Amendments between Wayne and Georgetown Light General Manager entitled. Vacation time. Said general manager shall have full charge of operation and management of the Georgetown Electric Light Department, manufacturing, distributing electric, purchase supplies, employees, employment of attorneys, agent. This is just happens to be the one at Georgetown. So that's what I mean. We have different things here. I just want to.
You've got all that wording in there. Supplies and agents and attorneys, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's covered by Massachusetts state law. If you're following the laws of the Commonwealth, you're doing those things. If you're not following the laws of the Commonwealth, then you're not doing those things.
Okay. But I mean, it's 3 pages. Why wouldn't you, I'm just asking,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you write, I always hear the judge say, where is it in writing? I mean, they're gonna say, well, that's general. I don't want something to come back and get us later on because, well, it was just general, it wasn't
It's
specified.
not general, it's specific. Laws of
This
the
is more
Commonwealth.
specific to me.
Laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, it's all redundant. That's why you got 3 pages.
Is that, I don't know more about that.
I'm not a lawyer.
As I said, I see job descriptions all the time. There are some that are very detailed, there are some that are not. It's really up to the organization of what you want to do.
Okay, what's the difference between we're having it a detail or not?
It's really a preference issue. You want to make sure that your job description is inclusive enough to cover all the things you want covered.
Right.
At the same time, you don't want to make it so tight that it's a box that says, well, look, it's not in the job description, and therefore I'm not.
I get you,
Hanging the
right.
lights at Christmas time is not in the job description,
Right.
therefore I'm not going to do it.
That's,
So there are many things that are not in the job description. What I would suggest to you is to make sure that you have in your job description the things that you think are
what I think.
important.
And that's what I was doing.
That said, with your new manager, I think it's important that you are clear to him or her what your expectations are that go well beyond a job description.
And that's why I was looking at different towns. I mean, you just came with a piece of paper today, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
You read it, you did it. I didn't do it. I don't know if Kenny had anything to do with it. I would just like more information first, that's all. It's probably no big deal, but I'm just satisfying myself.
Well, I was just, the only thing I was trying to do, Dave, was give something to our consultant to work with.
All right, but he says he can work with both, so
Well,
let's
and
do
that's
that and
fine.
But everything there.
move on.
But I certainly would like to give him something
Yes.
that's official,
Well,
Which
we
we-
can do
which
that
we don't
later.
have now.
We can do that. I don't think we'd have to be right there. He's a smart man. He knows how to juggle. He's going to be talking, interviewing here. When it comes to that, we should have something that we're all happy with.
No, I'm just up
Okay.
to you. I mean, to end the conversation, I guess I would ask if there would be a motion to accept the revised general manager's job description for the Rowley Municipal Lighting Plan.
At this time, I would say no for me.
I'll make a motion that whether we accept this general manager's personnel policies. Make a motion to move. Any second it? No?
Ken's making a motion
Yeah,
to
accept
accept
this.
the revised general manager's policy. Do you want to second
No.
that?
Not that, no. I'm not ready for it, no.
Okay,
I will second it,
you'll second it.
yes.
Okay, so then,
All those in favor?
all those in favor say aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. So we have 2 for and 1 against. I'm gonna do it in the agenda. And it's 5.
That's fine.
Okay. There being no other items on the agenda, I would accept the motion to adjourn, unless Rick has anything else to say? Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn?
I second.
Motion made and second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried at 5:36.
You want to say something else?